The first scream never made it past her throat. Dust lifted in a thin, nervous spiral as the horse skidded to a halt. The open range stretched forever in every direction. Gold grass, broken rock, sky so wide it made lives feel small. The Apache girl tightened her grip on the reins, dark eyes flicking left then right. 3 men stood where the trail narrowed, spread out like they owned the land, like the land had been waiting for them. They smiled the way men do when they think the world has already decided for them. She turned the horse, but one of them stepped forward, slow and confident, rifle resting easy against his shoulder. Another leaned against a boulder, hat tipped low, watching her like she was already a story he'd tell later. The third said nothing. He just stared, measuring distance, exits, the weight of silence. "Easy now," the first man said. "Ain't nowhere to go." Her heart beat once, then again loud. She thought of the river to the east, the cottonwoods where her mother used to sing while grinding corn. She thought of how open land could still feel like a trap if the wrong people decided it was. She slid from the saddle before they could force her down. That was the first choice she made that day. It would not be the last. "You don't belong out here alone," the man with the rifle said. "World's dangerous." She lifted her chin. "So are you," the second man laughed. "Listen to that. She's got teeth." They began to close in, boots crunching soft dirt, cutting off angles without hurry. Predators with time. The horse snorted, sensing it, muscles tight as drawn wire. That's when the wind shifted. It carried the sound first, hooves, slow and deliberate, not running, not hiding. Someone was coming, and whoever it was had no interest in arriving quietly. All 3 men turned. The rancher rode out of the heat haze like he'd been carved from it. Sun-browned face, grey dust in his beard, eyes sharp enough to read trouble at a distance. He didn't rush, didn't shout, just came forward until his horse stopped between the girl and the men, close enough that she could smell leather and sweat and something steadier underneath resolve. "She's with me," he said. The words fell heavy, final, like a fence post driven deep. For a moment, no one breathed. The man with the rifle squinted. "You sure about that, old-timer?" The rancher didn't look at him. He kept his eyes on the girl, just long enough to let her know she wasn't invisible anymore. Then he turned, slow, and faced them all. "I'm sure." The third man finally spoke. "Didn't see her brand." The rancher's mouth twitched, not a smile. "You won't. The open range has a way of magnifying things. A wrong step. A hand drifting too close to a holster. A word said half a second too late. The men spread again, reflexively, trying to reclaim space. The rancher noticed. He always noticed. "Now," the rifleman said, "we were just—" "You were cornering her," the rancher cut in, calm, flat. "And now you're—" "Leaving." Laughter cracked the air again, thinner this time. "You planning to stop us?" The rancher rested his hand on his saddle horn. Not his gun. That mattered. "I already did." Silence stretched, long enough for the girl to feel the burn in her legs ease. Long enough for her to wonder if this was how stories began. Quiet, uncertain, balanced on a blade. The third man shifted his weight. The rancher saw it. He always saw it. "Back away," the rancher said. "Slow." The men hesitated. The range watched. Somewhere far off a hawk cried. That's when the rifleman smiled again and raised the barrel just an inch. The sound of the rancher's gun clearing leather was a promise kept. The shot hit dirt between the man's boots, precise enough to shame him. Dust leapt. The smile vanished. "I don't miss," the rancher said. "Next one won't be a warning." For a heartbeat, it felt like the world had decided. Then the men backed off, curses swallowed by pride, eyes promising unfinished business. They melted into the land the way bad ideas do, never gone, just waiting. The rancher turned to the girl. "You hurt?" She shook her head. Her voice took effort. "Why?" He studied her a moment, then shrugged. "Because no one should stand alone when the ground turns against them." He gestured to his horse. "You ride?" She almost laughed, almost. They rode together without speaking for a while, the range opening back up, breathing again. The girl watched him from the corner of her eye, the way you watch weather. She knew better than to trust quickly. But she also knew when a man had stepped into danger without being asked. "What's your name?" he asked eventually. She told him. He nodded. "I'm Eli Turner." Names matter. She felt the weight of his settle into the day. They didn't go far before the hook came back, soft at first, like an itch between the shoulders. She felt it before she understood it. Someone was following. Eli felt it too. He slowed the horse just enough. "They won't let it go," he said, not asking. "Neither will I," she replied. He glanced at her, surprised, then smiled for real this time. Good. They reached his ranch by dusk. Fences low and honest. A house that had seen better years, but still stood straight. Eli dismounted, motioned her in. "You'll be safe here tonight." She hesitated at the gate. Safe was a word with a history. Eli didn't rush her. "You can leave at first light if you want." She went in. That night, as coyotes sang and the wind pressed against the walls, Eli cleaned his rifle by lamplight. The girl sat across from him, sharpening a knife older than his ranch, older than his father's grave. "You don't owe me," he said. "I know," she answered. "That's why I'll stay." The next morning came hard and bright. With it came dust on the horizon. 3 riders. Eli saw them and sighed. "Reckon they came to finish a thought." The girl stood calm now, ready. "Then we don't let them." They rode out together, meeting the men halfway, the open range once, again holding its breath. The rifleman spoke first. "You made a mistake." Eli tilted his head. "Funny, I was thinking the same." What followed wasn't fast. It wasn't clean. It was a test of nerve and ground and who the land would listen to. Shots cracked. Horses screamed. The girl moved like water, every choice sharp. Eli stood like stone, absorbing, returning. When it ended, 2 men rode away broken. One did not ride at all. The range exhaled. Eli lowered his gun, hands steady despite the cost. He looked at the girl. "You still with me?" She wiped dust from her face, looked at the land, looked at him. "For now." They rode back under a sky turning copper, the day etched into them both. Stories would spread. They always do. About a rancher who stood against 3 men. About an Apache girl who refused to be taken. About a place where the open range remembered who had the courage to claim it. And every time the wind shifted, it carried the hook again, the reminder that sometimes one voice is enough to stop the world from tipping the wrong way.